Hi. So a young woman reached out to me, concerning a marital issue that she's going through. And she said she spoke to her husband some time ago about a particular property that she wanted him to buy. She was, into properties and all of that, real estate. But the husband is a 9 to 5. And so she came up with the idea that there's this property that they should buy that in no time is going to appreciate because, real estate agents, they know where you can get those properties that will appreciate, faster than others. So she spoke to her husband about it. And the husband just waved it aside and said, that's not what, we should be thinking of now. We should be thinking of other things. There's so many things to do we haven't done. We can't be thinking of buying, trapping our money on land now when there's so much to do, like other pressing needs. She said she raised it once and twice, and the husband, held on to that thing that reason why he didn't want to have the land bought yet, at least not now. And so she went ahead behind him and purchased the land. So years later, she now discovered that the land had appreciated and wanted to open up to the husband. But she's worried, that the man will not take it lightly. He won't be happy about it. It will look like betrayal because they spoke about it. And he said, at least not now. There's a lot of pressing issues in front of them. And she reaches out to say, what should I do? Because right now I'm worried. I know this is going to cause a big problem in my marriage. So I told her, I told her that she's not alone in this kind of situation. I've been there in the sense that I felt that like my husband did not, he was not seeing the bigger picture. He wasn't fast enough to, take a decision that would be a life changing decision. Probably not now, but later. And I felt the need to go ahead, regardless of the fact that we've talked about it, and just go ahead and do it. But this is what I did, and this is what I want to share with any married woman who finds herself in this position or at this point. Now, whatever I want to say to you, please take it with a pinch of salt, okay? I know that every husband is different, but what I also understand is that the structure of marriage is the same. And sometimes you just need to understand the right approach and you'll be able to manage, your husbands regardless of their personalities. So this was what I did. When I went ahead to say, you know what, I understood the fact that there were pressing needs. I understood the fact that there were things that, needed our attention as at that moment. But I also had it somewhere in my mind that I didn't want us to miss out on this opportunity. So I decided to go ahead to do the purchase. In this case, it wasn't a land, it was, a kind of another asset. And so what I did was that I bought it in the name of our company that we own together, a company we own together. So I bought it in that company name. Now, when I bought it in that name, because I had the intentions were pure, I felt like this is something that later my husband would look back and say, thank you for doing this. But I just needed the wisdom to be able to go about it. And when it was time for me to reveal it, I went to him. I knelt down and I said, I know that I've offended you. I don't need anybody to say, to tell me. I know that I've offended you because we had a conversation and we both agreed to let this slide for now. But I went ahead and I purchased whatever I purchased and I showed him. And he said, you know that this is betrayal, right? I said, yes, I know. I know, but I just felt like at that point, you were so like pressed. You didn't see what I was saying. I didn't want to overflog it because I totally understood with you. But at the same time, this was an opportunity I didn't want us to miss. I'm sorry that I went ahead regardless. This would never happen again, not if you don't want me to. But here is the document, and I dropped it. And he just told me, I know your intentions are pure. Looking through the documents, he saw it. I mean, a company we both owned, were stakeholders. He looked at it and he said, okay, I forgive you, it's fine. I know you also want the best for the family. From what I see, you had no evil intentions. And that was how we spoke about it. And we moved on from there. Let me say this to you. I can remember how many times my husband thanked me for doing that thing, regardless of the fact that he told me initially not to. So, why am I saying this story? And why am I trying to be this practical? Because most of the time, the fact that you disobeyed him was not the problem. The problem is your approach, which is everything I always talk about. Your approach to everything. When you now want to make it sound like you were smarter, more intelligent, you saw the end from the beginning, you knew what he didn't know, you want to make him feel like what you knew sitting down, even if he was standing, he wouldn't have seen it, and that's why he didn't do it. And this is part of what I preached today in my initial video. When you are undermining him, making him feel little and less of himself, is not going to end up well. But if you have the right approach, if you have the right attitude, you position yourself properly. Trust me, those things you think can cripple your home, package yourself in a way that your husband will see the positive side. So instead of him flaring up, getting angry, and acting like, oh, this woman disobeyed me, it will turn out to your praises because you chose the right approach. And this is what wise women do on a daily basis that makes it look like they can get away with some things. They can speak to their husband and say, I did this. And the man is looking at them and saying, you know what? This woman always does things that are beneficial to the home. She's not doing it because she's selfish. She's not doing it because she's self centered. She's not doing it just for herself. She's doing it for the family. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you would take this and run, you would find out that part of the issues you see as issues will no longer be issues, and you will be fine at the end of the day. I hope this helps someone.